Determine the left-sided limit and the right-sided limit, and the two-sided limit as x approaches 0 of 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 1 divided by x to the fourth minus 2x cubed. Each of these involves the limit as x approaches 0 of 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 1 divided by x to the fourth minus 2x cubed. The first thing to do is try plugging a 0 in for each of the x's. That will give 3 times 0 cubed plus 4 times 0 squared minus 1 divided by 0 to the fourth minus 2 times 0 cubed. 3 times 0 cubed is 0, plus 4 times 0 squared is 0, minus 1, divided by 0 to the fourth is 0, and then minus 2 times 0 cubed is 0. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 4 times 0 is 0, minus 1, divided by 0 minus 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 minus 1 is a negative 1. 0 minus 0 is a 0. The 0 in the denominator isn't actually a 0 because x is only approaching 0 here. It never reaches 0. The limit result of a non-zero number over 0 is equal to positive infinity or negative infinity. But the sign of the infinity often depends on the side that the limit approaches from. So it will be necessary to work out the one-sided limit separately. We have the left-sided limit indicated by the negative superscript on the 0 of 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 1 divided by x to the fourth minus 2x cubed. And the right-sided limit indicated by the positive superscript on the 0 of 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 1 divided by x to the fourth minus 2x cubed. Let's start with the left-sided limit. The first thing to do is to factor the denominator so that we can see the factor or factors that are making the 0 in the denominator. We can leave the numerator alone. The denominator has a common factor of x cubed. If it's factored out, it will leave an x and a minus 2. X is approaching 0 here, so the factor that's making the 0 is the x, which is being cubed, so it's technically 3 factors. We're approaching from the left side of 0 here. The left side of 0 is a negative number, and that is going to get plugged in for x there. A negative number plugged in for x will then be cubed, but it's going to approach to 0, so in place of the x there, we can put negative 0. All other x's we can replace with a 0. So this will give 3 times 0 cubed plus 4 times 0 squared minus 1 divided by, in place of the x we put a negative 0 because it's approaching from the left side of 0. That's why it will be a negative, and then 0 minus 2. In the numerator, 3 times 0 cubed is 0, plus 4 times 0 squared is 0, and then minus 1, divided by a negative cubed will be a negative, and a 0 cubed will be a 0. And then 0 minus 2 will be a negative 2. So this will equal, in the numerator, 3 times 0 is a 0, plus 4 times 0 is a 0, minus 1. In the denominator, a negative times a negative is a positive. A 0 times a 2 is a 0. The numerator will be 0 plus 0 minus 1, which is negative 1 over positive 0. A negative divided by a positive will be negative. A non-zero divided by 0 will be an infinity. And there's the result of the left-sided limit, negative infinity. The right-sided limit can be worked out in a similar fashion. It starts with factoring the denominator. So the numerator can be left alone. So common factor of x cubed, leaving the x minus 2. The factor that's making 0 in the denominator will be the x that's being cubed. This is the right-sided limit, so we're approaching 0 from the right side. The right side of 0 is a positive number, and therefore x will be replaced by positive 0 in the x cubed factor that's making 0 in the denominator. All other x's can be replaced with just a 0. So this will be 3 times 0 cubed plus 4 times 0 squared minus 1 divided by what will be a positive 0 cubed times a 0 minus 2. Three times 0 cubed is 0, plus 4 times 0 squared is 0, minus 1, divided by a positive cubed is positive, 0 cubed is 0, and 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. In the numerator, 3 times 0 is 0, plus 4 times 0 is 0, minus 1, divided by a positive times a negative is a negative, and 0 times 2 is a 0. 0 plus 0 minus 1 is negative 1 over negative 0. A negative over a negative is a positive. A non-zero over a 0 is an infinity. And there's the result of the right-sided limit. The two-sided limit depends on the results of the one-sided limits. Comparing them, we have a negative infinity and a positive infinity. They're different from each other. Therefore, the two-sided limit up here will be does not exist. And there is the result of the three different limits.